congratulations on the world premiere of Mary this morning.
Thank you.
How do you feel now that it's been shown?
I feel pretty good now that it's been shown. It's always great feeling when something you work on for so long actually gets seen by people. And it's interesting that because the movie had gone through a couple of different cuts, this cut is actually the freshest one to me. So it was a little revelation to me as well.
So how do you feel? Have you had much audience reaction since it aired this morning?
I certainly heard the most vocal reactions, which were the jumps and the screams, but that's fine. Some of the more subtle things that it's hard to pick up sometimes in the audience, but I love what Gary Oldman and Emily Mortimer do in this movie, and I think that kind of bonding and relationship they have in the film, I think, translates into the audience as well.
One of the things that I thought he did so well is that the tension is so slow burning, but it builds to almost a dread level.
Yeah.
And there's so much claustrophobia in there. What did you do to make sure you captured that?
It's like they always say that the bomb going off is much less scary than the anticipation of the bomb going off. And I love those moments where I can just do a slow creeping dolly and just look at a character waiting or something like that. And I'm a huge fan of Val Lewton's movies from the 1940s, and I love that anticipation and build-up. So having those beats and those moments in the movies that I make are really important to me as much as the payoffs are.
And you mentioned this morning you had quite limited time with Gary and with Emily. What was it like pulling together the shoot in such a short space of time?
Well, when you work with actors like Gary Oldman and Emily Mortimer, they make it happen. And, even if you're pressed for time or on a shortened schedule, they bring their A game to take number one. So you can have a dynamite movie even in a very short amount of time. We had a tremendously good time, I must say. Even under the difficult circumstances that we're in, the conditions were very difficult shooting on the boat. But Gary, Emily, and I, and the whole cast, we bonded together and just had a really wonderful collaborative atmosphere.
And what would you say was the most challenging thing when making the film?
The most challenging thing about making the movie on a boat on the water was making a movie on a boat on the water. Quite honestly, everything's always moving. If you decide to change a lens, you're slipping and sliding all over the place trying to get the lens into the socket of the camera. It's just the elements, involved, and you just have to embrace all those elements and say, okay, this is what it is, What do I do when I'm in this situation now? What can I do?
And you could really tell from watching the film this was made by a genre fan, which you said this morning you're a huge genre fan. Which filmmakers have directly influenced you over the years?
There's certainly some seminal filmmakers that have affected me. One of the most important is Mario Bava. I saw the trailer for Blood and Black Lace when I was 4 years old, entirely by accident, in a movie theater. And I just remembered so vividly that trailer, the woman's body being dragged through the woods, the face being pressed on the hot stove, and the narrator's voice saying blood, blood, and black lace. And years later, I was trying to find some information on the movie, and this is before the age of the internet, if you can believe that. And I couldn't find anything. And finally, when I started to find stuff, and I got to know who Mario Bava was and stuff, I was not disappointed when I saw the film. It was exactly what I thought it was going to be. So Mario Bava was a huge initial influence, as was the movie The Graduate. Oddly enough, I know they don't seem to match up, but in a way they do in my head. I love that movie and how the movie made me feel, like I was Dustin Hoffman. It made me feel like I could climb into Dustin Hoffman's head and see the world as he sees it, and that affected me as a filmmaker.
Well, that's all my questions for you. So congratulations again on the film. I really enjoyed it. Best of luck with it.
Thank you so much.